Hi, everyone, and welcome to this week's edition of What's Driving Token Prices. I'm your host, Katie Talati, Director of Research at Arca. For those joining us for the first time, I'm responsible for identifying and analyzing digital asset and blockchain opportunities for Arca's funds. As part of our research, my team and I examine token prices and the market events that act as catalysts for price change. Based on our research and market events over the past week, here are some notable token price moves and what we think drove these moves. As a reminder, this commentary is not intended to be investment advice, investment research, or an investment recommendation. Please consult your investment professional for your own circumstances. Well, guys, welcome to another exciting week here in the crypto world. We've had some kind of ups and downs recently. The SEC recently last week rejected the ETH ETF application, one of the ETH ETF applications. A lot of folks are now waiting until May for the final deadline to hear on that. Ripple has been charged by the SEC with a $2 billion fine, even though they won out against the SEC in court. BlackRock also announced that they're going to a whole new program where they're going to be tokenizing assets on the blockchain, which is awesome. And this morning there was a change in the Coinbase case against the SEC. Unfortunately, there was a motion to dismiss the case, but the judge has ruled that they will not dismiss it, and so it will go on to trial, which most people expected. So kind of in line with what we were thinking. But we got some projects to talk about today, and so we'll just get right into it. All right, so to start, I'm going to talk a bit about QCoin. So yesterday, the Southern District of New York charged the two founders of the crypto exchange QCoin with violating the Bank Secrecy Act. So I think I talked about this maybe several weeks ago. QCoin has had some trouble as of late with the with law enforcement or federal prosecutors in the United States. This is a separate charge from the last one, but basically they're now charged with lying to federal investigators about serving U.S. customers, and they're also being accused of not instituting a anti-money laundering or AML program until 2023. Finally, they've been allegedly they've received millions of dollars from Tornado Cash. And the basically federal prosecutors said, they're running a total criminal operation. They've been laundering all this money. So look, we don't really know what's true, at least in terms of what's going on with QCoin, whether they were intentionally laundering money or they were just, it was an oversight on their part. But this is just another crackdown by U.S. law enforcement on crypto exchanges. We saw super similar charges levied against Binance last year. And this is all part of kind of moving the space forward, seeing, companies that are maybe not playing by the rules start to clean up their act as we legitimize the space. So probably good in the long run. Since the news broke yesterday, about $600 million has actually flowed out from the exchange, which has it had over 5 billion in assets back then. And then the KCS token for the QCoin exchange is down 20%. Okay, next we're going to talk about Phantom. So Phantom is a layer one blockchain. They announced the launch of a new technology called Sonic, which basically promises to speed up and process blockchain transactions at far greater speeds than are currently available for any blockchain, not just Phantoms. So Phantom has experienced a lot of turmoil over the last year. If you have been following them at all, their main bridge called Multichain was hacked, and it basically cut off any new assets from coming on as well as assets from leaving the blockchain. A lot of folks were very upset by this. And then also the founder, Andre Cronje, has, he's quit the project a couple of times, and that has also caused a lot of turmoil. A lot of folks don't really know who's leading the project, what's going on with it. So this new upgrade is really hoping to speed things along for them. So the new upgrade is basically there's two parts to it. The first part is actually putting the upgrade on the Phantom chain, and that will, hopefully happen sometime soon. The second part is launching a whole new set of chains that are would make Phantom kind of similar to Optimism or Arbitrum, with being this kind of hub for activity on a bunch of different rollups, and that's expected to launch later this year. So hopefully this new upgrade, it could help upgrade the functionality, and it could create relevancy for Phantom once again, where there has not really been any. Despite this positive news, Phantom is down 2.8% for the week. All right, let's talk about Fracks. So DeFi project Fracks released a big governance proposal last week detailing their revenue generation strategies for the project. So basically the proposal said we're going to distribute 50% of revenue to stakers of FXS, which is the Fracks governance token, and the other 50% is going to be used to buy back FXS and also add liquidity to Fracks assets in the open market. So Frax previously used a mix of stable coins and FXS to back their stable coin called Frax. However, following the collapse of Luna and UST in 2022, the team kind of decided to pivot to creating a fully backed stablecoin. They thought this was a better project. This would be better for the longevity of the project. It would just make people feel more comfortable with them. And so to do that, any revenue that was generated in like the last year or so was basically put towards backstopping or filling out the part of the stablecoin that wasn't backed by redeemable assets. And so finally, this last week, the project reached a collateralization ratio of about 100%. Which basically means that the Frack stablecoin is now backed 1-to-1 with redeemable assets. And the team has decided instead now that they're going to shift their focus to revenue generation that can be passed on to token holders. So the proposal is currently up for a vote, and it's going to end on Saturday, but that will hopefully be really good for this project that has kind of languished a bit even with a recent run in crypto assets. So with all this, the FXS governance token is only up 5.8% for the week. All right, last we've got a double for you guys, but Badger DAO and Lido. So basically, both of these two are DeFi projects. They launched a new product that's going to allow users to take out a feeless Bitcoin loan and earn rewards. It's called eBTC. Users are basically able to take out a loan backed with ETH or staked ETH, and then Lido's liquid staking, which is Lido's liquid staking derivative. The deposited assets are then staked in Lido's protocol to earn ETH staking rewards, which are then passed on to the end user. So eBTC doesn't charge the typical fees of other DeFi lend borrow projects, such as initiation fees, repayment charges, and interest. And it's designed to be kind of fully transparent and non-custodial. So if you haven't been paying much attention lately, there's a lot of talk about initiating DeFi and kind of creating more of a rich ecosystem within Bitcoin specifically, with a lot of the new advancements in technology that's been made there as of late. So folks are really excited about the possibility of doing things like bridging assets over Bitcoin-backed loans. If you're not familiar with kind of like Bitcoin and Ethereum at a high level, Ethereum allows for smart contracts, which means that you can have much more complex operations done on the chain, whereas Bitcoin really is much more simple. So there are some layer 2 projects coming out, some new functionality that will hopefully allow for some smart contract functions to move over to Bitcoin. But another issue that's also plagued kind of DeFi and crypto for a long time is that because Bitcoin and Ethereum aren't really that compatible, it's hard to kind of, you end up with like this fragmented liquidity. So a project like this is super cool because they're basically offering like a more transparent and like trustless way to have your assets be represented on another chain. Right now, I think the only solution really is wrapped BTC or WBTC, which is created like by Bitco, and so it's actually housed in a centralized place, so not as accessible for everyone and not as trustless. So super cool, potential project that could really take off here. They just launched yesterday. The Badger token for Badger DAO is up 56% this week, and the Lido token is up 17% this week. So we'll wait to see how this one goes. That's all I got for you guys this week. I hope you enjoyed our insights. Tune in here again next Wednesday at 1 p.m. Pacific to hear what's driving token prices.